In this video, we will be discussing about Klaviyo attribution. We will discussing how Klaviyo attributes any conversion. Second is complications in terms of multi-channel, with SMS, with two emails and all those kind of complications which can come. And lastly, we will discuss GA versus Klaviyo, which is very hotly discussed topic. And there is a lot of confusion around, and client always keep on asking, my Klaviyo numbers is not matching GA numbers. So we will discuss both pro and cons of GA and Klaviyo. So let's dive deep into it. First is how we track conversions, how Klaviyo track conversions. So Klaviyo attributes in any attribution model, whenever you read it. So it's two metrics, which is two things which you need to consider. One is engagement. What you would count as engagement. Engagement can be a open, engagement can be impression, engagement can be click, engagement can be a add to. Engagement needs to be what engagement you are considering from the channel. And second is window. How long is your window? How long you feel impact of a channel remains. If someone has opened an email, how long, or if someone has seen an ad, interacted with an ad, then how long impact of ad remains. So that's the two metrics. Klaviyo will attribute any number or phone if they have seen, interacted within a given window, and then placed an order. Now, where the Klaviyo attribution shines, or numbers or transparency come, it's not a cookie based attribution, because Klaviyo can see exact email and can see exact phone number, and they know interaction is channel is also email and phone number, and in order you get both information. Klaviyo can backtrack also and can connect dots depending on if same email address you have sent and they have clicked, and same email address has placed an order. It doesn't need to have a single channel, it doesn't need to have a on single device. Even if interaction happens across multiple devices in incognito and wherever, if placement order is same as email address is same as email open address, then Klaviyo can combine attribution and count it as their own. So that's the where confusion comes, but this is basically how Klaviyo. So they will look at email, they will look at the phone number, then they will look at interaction window and interaction metric, or interaction engagement type of interaction which you would consider, and window. And for Facebook, Google, they typically keep 7 days window. Google keeps, I think, 3 days window for attribution. Facebook for sure keeps a 7-day window. You can change it, but typically they report everything on 7-day window. And type of interaction, Facebook reports on clicks, but some agencies report on Facebook impressions as well. That's what. So we typically like to keep it on open on clicked within 7 days. That's our attribution, because it's same as any other paid channel. And for SMS, because we use SMS on very tight window, we keep it 24 hours as SMS. Next is complication, and there is no fixed rules. You can keep it default. So Klaviyo default, if we jump into a tool, Klaviyo default is typically 5 days opens and 5 day for email in email attribution, and opens and clicks and 5 days. And similarly for SMS, it's more 24 hours window. Klaviyo keeps it that, but we sometimes change it to 7 days and exclude the opens, Apple privacy opens, and conversion. You can discuss with client if you are an agency and give them an impression, but typically, or you can keep it default, because default keeps decision on hold. It's better to leave it as it is, but it's important to know what's the current attribution system you are using. Now, complication comes. There are two kind of complications. One is seen and click. Seen and click. If someone has seen 2 emails, or for sale, there was a live email is ending tonight, or typically journey happens is you send a campaign, then people come on the website, they add something to cart, then they leave, and then a float get triggered and they get a cart abandonment email or something like that. In this scenario also, it's more to do with that customer will receive 2 emails and they might open both emails, they can click on both of the emails. Now the question comes that which will get attribution, which email will get attributions. Over here, Klaviyo use last touch model. So last touch, we'll discuss these models in details in the next section, but Klaviyo use last touch. So last email, if customer came on campaign, click, and then cart abandonment email went. So they will attribute in cart abandonment, and they will not attribute on. So that's their attribution model. Multi-channel seen and clicked then bought. If multi-channel are involved, you sent out email also, you sent out SMS also. Klaviyo now have a push, so you can send out also. If it works, then how Klaviyo will control, monitor, attribute. So it comes down to first is last touch, so they will look at last touch, and then they will look at window. One is last touch. If SMS went out in this scenario, email went out and customer bought on 4th day, and SMS customer clicked on 2nd day and purchased on 4th day. Customer eventually last click was the SMS as last touch. So SMS, but SMS window was set to 24 hours. Window has passed for SMS. It will, and the email had a 5-day window, so conversion will be attributed to email. These are how Klaviyo on their support page, but it's typically because SMS is 24 hours. Typically, if SMS will get, so typically it will be last click. If SMS is not, then after 24 hours everything will fall back to email if they have engaged, and it's last touch and single channel. And if it's within window. Now coming to hotly debated topic about GA versus Klaviyo numbers, and they never match. There is a Klaviyo definitely over reports, and that's a simple explanation to Klaviyo over reports, and our clients also understand that. But why Klaviyo over reports? Because GA also misses out a few points, and GA has a Google Analytics has a different complication in the terms of first is GA is a multi-channel platform. GA is reporting numbers from Facebook also, from Google also, from Klaviyo also, if you are running SMS on Attentive or any other channel. It's a multi-channel, and they use multiple attribution models. Jumping into attribution models, they are in market or in industry, there is a lot of confusion about attribution, and everyone uses it different, but mostly GA uses last touch. So last touch is whosoever. So customer journeys are very complicated these days, and customer never buy from a single channel in a single touch. Typically, they will come from Facebook, then they will go to Google, then they will click on email, then it's a very complicated and is never a linear journey, and it differs from customer to customers. It's mostly easiest is last touch, and most of the attribution have been around last touch. Whatever number you see in any of channel is always last touch. In by default in all marketing platforms, be it GA, be it, and last touch says whosoever has converted email, converted conversion will get attribution. Second is first touch. It's just a reverse of last touch. Even this attribution is you give attribution to everyone. If a $100 purchase has been made, so you break it up in all attribution, and you break it up into if a customer has interacted with 5 channels, you break it up into 5 channels. Over here, customer have interacted with 9 channels or 8 channels, 9 channels, I guess. You distribute across 9 channels weightage, and last touch cooperative last touch is just one before last touch. It's a basketball analogy which works, or football analogy. It's a someone who makes the pass, and it's not final forward. It's a middle position. It's from analogy. It's mostly whosoever passes the ball before forward kicks into goal. That's last touch attribution. Then there is a time decay. You take time decay into consideration. There is a even distribution model, but with even you are also considering the time factor. If someone has attributed some channel have 15 days ago, very early in the funnel, very top on funnel, then you take that, but then you give a very little attribution to them, and then you move everything to the last. You divide attribution in linear fashion. Then position based first and last are maximum weightage, and minimum is, and progressive attribution is also you map key journeys and then you attribute accordingly. But these are very complicated, and then it's basically you need to have data, and then you run different models to see which is making more sense, or it's more overall story is looking good. That's mostly falls on CMO level, and then you have to look at all channels in sync. But just for the sake of this discussion, let's get back into GA. So GA is looking at all channels on last click method. So if someone is running very aggressive paid ads, and for supposedly for a simple example of cart abandonment. So cart abandonment goes after 45 minutes or 1 hour in email marketing typically. And if someone is running very aggressive targeting ads or retargeting ads, so as soon as they leave website, they will start seeing the ads on Facebook or anywhere. So till the time your email reaches them, they will buy from some paid ads, or even if they have clicked on the email and then they saw the ad and they clicked on the ad, then the GA will attribute to this Facebook. It totally depends on what other channels are working and how other channels are structured in. So there's over there, it's mostly people sometimes use brand name research and they change devices from mobile to desktop to mobile and iPad, and there are multiple devices also involved. So that's why where confusion comes. GA is multi-channel and Klaviyo reports only for email and SMS. Second, and I think most of the confusion happens because of this issue, is cookie based. GA is cookie based, where Klaviyo looks at email and phone. Klaviyo have actual user email and actual user's phone. It basically will use information for attribution. Even if someone has seen the email, clicked on the email, and then they opened incognito and purchased an order, because they have used the same email address while placing an order, and Klaviyo will get data from Shopify sync, so they will be able to pull up. So that's basically where I feel difference comes. Next is tracks opens as well. Klaviyo tracks opens is also an issue, and sometimes the parameters also doesn't attribute properly to Klaviyo. So in email, you need to set up a setting. Let's go into settings. Then in email there is a UTM. In others, I think there is a UTM tracking. In UTM tracking, you need to properly mention this is the UTM source, this is the UTM medium. Sometimes what happens, this UTM parameters are not opened or applied to email. So email GA does not have a visibility. Click is coming from email marketing. They attribute it to direct or something like that, and Klaviyo will definitely report on opens and all the factors we discussed earlier. So due to this reason, UTM tracking, GA underreports and Klaviyo overreports, but it's mostly to do with channels and mostly to do with how they have been structured, but there's nothing right or wrong as such. In attribution, it mostly comes down to every channel is telling you a story, and you need to look a complete story is tough to. You need to use some advanced tools to get attribution, and then it goes into when we look at model, it's mostly email need to perform at a certain level within GA, and email needs to perform at a certain level within Klaviyo. What you can have a metric, or it can be benchmark level. You set a benchmark for within Klaviyo, you set a benchmark within GA, Google Analytics. It's both benchmarks are monitored and worked upon differently. Second, email also have a micro metrics, opens, clicks, and this kind of numbers, so you can have a monitoring around that. Also, impact is always, there will be some last touch impacts, there will be some in the middle of the funnel, and some impact is totally on the top of the funnel, like a welcome flow or pop-ups. They always add to the top of the funnel. So there's no one answer, but what we tell the client is, because you're working on each channel separately and eventually your customer will get a comprehensive view, what you need to monitor is each platform need to perform at best level, and then the whole story will come collectively at a collective level. But individuality, if client supposedly, for example, like Klaviyo is we have seen typical 30% revenue in Klaviyo, and GA typically we have seen 10 to 15% revenue. If your Klaviyo revenue is not 30%, then there is a scope of improvement, be it any attribution is involved, but there is a area of improvement where Klaviyo performance can be maxed up. Now coming to GA, GA will never show 30%, but we have seen 10% in more than 50% of brand. This is 10% you can take as a standard, or it can go up to 15%. If they are not doing any other marketing, then we have seen 20% also in some of the accounts. If they are very aggressive on paid marketing, or it's they have 7-8 channels are adding giving revenue in GA, then it comes down to more 5 to 6% kind of a number. But at least minimum 5% email attribution should be there in GA, and max is 20%, and it's always in the middle. But when you work on month-on-month basis or quarter-on-quarter basis, then it's more about comparative, it's more about local maxima, it's more about what can be improved where. It's not about that this should be 15 and mine is 12. Even if you have a ballpark number, it's how we can increase 12 to 13, 13 to 14, 14 to 15, instead of thinking 12 is ideal number or 15 is ideal number. And both metrics, both channels will give you, both Google Analytics and Klaviyo will give you lots to work on. Lots of analytics is there, but attribution, because of convoluted behavior, but this complex customer journey, attribution will always, you will never have a perfect attribution, because every customer will behave differently, and they might use 3 channels, they might use 5 channels. Some might get impacted by email more, some might impacted by paid marketing more, some might get impacted by your social media presence or SEO presence, and they were searching on something and you were, it's tough to come to a final number. But mostly the idea is to look at more local maxima and work on channel individually, and then try to collect it comprehensively inside GA, and then you can play around with. But discussion is mostly for 8-figure monthly businesses or 9-figure. If you are doing around 1 million per month, then you need to worry about attribution models. Till time, I think you need to worry about local maxima, and whatever number platform is reporting, you need to maximize on that number. I hope this was helpful, and this was all about attribution, fight between GA and Klaviyo numbers, and everything in the terms of models, what are industry models. We can do a different video on other type of different attribution models and list of all attribution models and go deep into them. But for the scope of this video, it's more to do with Klaviyo attribution and how Klaviyo attributes and why there is a discrepancy between Klaviyo numbers and GA numbers. I hope this was helpful, and if you find value, please do subscribe. Thank you.